guys, Joe here, coming at you today with a basics guide on the Electro Drag. First things first, if you enjoy the content, make sure you hit that subscription button and turn on notifications. So basically, the Electro Drag's been around since 2018, and there really isn't a lot of information out there on how to use the troop. So we're going to go into some details, the mechanics of the troop, how it's being used, and basically hopefully point out some things that you haven't noticed before. The Electro Drag, also known as the E-Drag, is unlocked at Town Hall 11. Now you do have to upgrade your barracks to level 13 in order to acquire this troop at level 1. It does cost about 3,600 elixir to cook your first troop. However, if you go over to your laboratory, you can upgrade it to level 2 at Town Hall 11. Now there are stats shown here. Don't pay much attention to those because they might change over time. Supercell does do regular updates on their games, so if you're watching an older video, make sure you check the date down in the description below. The stats might have changed on you. As you progress into Town Hall 12, you have to upgrade your laboratory to level 10 in order to unlock the level 3 or upgrade to the level 3 Electro Drag. If you pay attention to the skin of the dragon, it doesn't change very much as you progress through the levels. We'll get one better look at it. It does not change from level 1s to level 3. The E-Drag at first glance is an absolutely beautiful troop. Great design by Supercell on this one. It does resemble its counterpart in the standard dragon, but its attack is a lot different with the super cool chain lightning attack. So it will strike up to 5 buildings, but there's a limiting factor to that we'll have to check into here in a moment. Upon destruction, it's pretty awesome that it will launch up in the air and drop a group of lightning bolts down on the map. However, it doesn't affect certain things. Now, it doesn't have a preferred target. It will target the first structure that comes in front of it, but its chain lightning attack does kind of differ depending on how you come in on targets. Obviously here it only engaged 2 different buildings. It will go after the archer tower and then turn around and have to redirect. Now if you have a group of 5 buildings in a row, the chain lightning attack will start in one location and jump to the next locations, but it gets weaker as it jumps. So if you have a higher hit point building later in the group, obviously it won't be able to destroy those. Smaller buildings will get destroyed in the first shot. It depends on the succession of those buildings. Anyways, and it also is a very slow troop. If we drop a 6th building on the end of this line, will it actually work? Certainly not. It will do the same exact thing that it did before in the previous replay, and it will have to retarget and move up to the next group. Now, if we place the E-Drag on the end of a group of buildings that have 1 tile difference, the chain lightning will jump across buildings and strike, but again, it does get weaker over time or over each building, and the one building here, the air defense, did not get destroyed. It just was not strong enough, or it was too far out in the succession of buildings. So as we move into this one replay that I found out that it will not jump a 2nd tile. So we do have a group of 5 buildings here, and the E-Drag is able to target and chain lightning around 4 buildings. It destroys 3 of those buildings, and then it will have to retarget and move and take out the final 2. So it will not jump across 2 tiles. As we see here, we have 2 tiles in between buildings, and it will stop right there. The chain lightning stops right there on the first building. Some additional details about the Electro Drag that you might not have noticed before is the fact that you cannot control where it dies or where the lightning bolts rain down. So it might not necessarily take out a target that you're intending to take out. I was recently asked what's the comparison of this attack here, or the death, in relation to the lightning spell, and in fact the lightning spell at level 7 does have a higher damage per second, and you can actually control where you drop it in relation to the target that you're intending to do. The Electro Drag is about 330 DPS upon death. Now also testing out the clone spell, it will clone, at least in this situation here, we were able to clone 1 additional dragon, and the clone also upon death does rain down lightning upon its targets. Here's an example of how the Electro Dragon is being used. This is a Town Hall 12 versus a Town Hall 12. Not a fully maxed out base, I know. However, our army was composed of about 8 Electro Drags and then balloons to basically tank and pick up traps along the way to protect the Electro Drags. Now, a very cool feature about this dragon is the fact that it can reach out and drop the chain lightning attack across the base. If you didn't notice, the dragon over there in the east has picked off an air defense without even being within range of it. That is a very, very cool mechanic. Now, you also notice the bat spell being implemented on this attack. We'll talk about that spell at a later date. You also have the Stone Slammer tanking for the dragon, and they're basically going through and gutting the core of the base while under the Grand Warden's Eternal Tome ability. We have the heroes on the northern corridor working their way up, cleaning out structures throughout, and basically keeping the dragons focused in. you know, again, very similar attack strategy, very similar troop to its predecessor, the original Dragon, and it brings a different mechanic to the game, adding something that is completely different and is actually very, very interesting to see in action. Multiple different uses for this dragon, different compositions to be applied in, not always, or not such a spammy troop like the bowlers was when it was introduced. And I am very, very interested to see what they do with this troop, or what you guys do with this troop in the future. Other than that, that's going to wrap us up, guys. Smash that like button if you enjoyed the content today. Drop some comments below, and thanks for watching, guys. One thing I did miss in the video was the defensive clan castle with an Electro Dragon in it. I mean, I've seen multiple attacks where a Town Hall 9 was shut down by a defensive clan castle holding an Electro Drag, at least with the bowlers. Once the Electro Drag dies, it rains down lightning on the bowlers. Game over, it's done.